It is so cool to talk to you today. Thank you for the time. Right off the bat, I love the fact that Younger was such a different kind of series. It never felt like something I could say, oh, it was this, it was this. It always felt different. Do you have a memory of, starting out, what it was like playing Josh in those first few years?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that for the first day on set was shooting the first scene that we're together. With the shoe in the bar, which directly mirrors the last scene of the series with us together. Um, yeah, that first year was a whirlwind in so many ways. It's funny. I've been sober for 6 years, and the first season of Younger, I wasn't sober, so it's like very different in my head to the last 6 seasons. But the way that we kind of put that foundation together as a cast, as a crew, as this community, and the relationships that we form with the writers and each other, it's just like it really set the groundwork for 7 seasons, and shooting in New York City on location, it's a dream come true for an actor. And I think it's hard to look back and realize how good you actually had it, I think we were all very, very spoiled for a very long time.
Well, and some shows, it takes a few episodes for you to really get a sense of who a character is. But I felt like Josh, I felt from the beginning that a lot of these characters really just jumped off of every episode, and you really kind of knew who they were instantly. Mm-hmm. Did Darren talk to you at all about his vision for the character, or did you guys work together on building him?
Honestly, it all happened so fast at the top. I think from the time span of me auditioning, I was the last person to get cast. From the time span of me auditioning to shooting was 2 days, 3 days. And Darren was deep in production, let alone pre-production, but in production on a show, right? That he directed the pilot. And people don't realize how fast television actually moves, and that every single day you're beating the clock. And there's really not a whole lot of time for in-depth conversation and character study. You kind of for me and Josh, it was I got to just trust my gut, trust my instinct on this, and go with the flow. And obviously I had Sutton Foster to base that entire exchange off of, which made Josh who he is. Josh is nothing without Sutton, at least in the beginning. And we kind of helped these two characters find each other throughout that first season, and continued for 7 seasons. I don't think Josh is just one thing. Josh first season is not the same person Josh was season 7. First of all, I was 26 years old when we started. I was a completely different person from when we started to the last season. I don't even know what question I'm answering anymore.
Well, do you have a favorite part of playing him over those 7 seasons? Because obviously he did change dramatically.
Yeah, I think my favorite part was working with Gemma and the babies and becoming a dad on TV. It was really special working with a baby. I've been doing it for the last 2 months, shooting a movie in LA too. Working with a baby is so magical, so difficult in so many ways. But it's just this unadulterated, pure, naive energy, wide-eyed, seeing the world for the first time. And as an actor, right, you can prep for the day. You can come in with what you think is going to happen and, do your work. And then all of a sudden a baby comes to set, and anything that you thought you were going to do for the day is completely thrown out the window because that baby's in charge. And it just reminds you to stay on your toes and create and respond and react in real time. And I think it's been really special as I'm trying to become a dad in my own life to have Josh as a backbone, have this movie that I'm working on now. It feels like life imitating art, imitating life is all very real for me. And it was definitely my favorite part of working on the show.
What was it like saying goodbye? Because obviously you're not just saying goodbye to a character, you're saying goodbye to that whole crew and team and everything else. So what was that last day like?
It was a really cold day. I'll start there. It was very cold in New York City. Everyone was masked up, visors, the whole shebang. And, I think I was very lucky it was the last scene. The last scene of us together was the last scene that I shot. And it was like a perfect rotation around the sun, right? Like I ended exactly where I started, with Sutton waving his shoe in a bar 7 years later. And like to have that journey as an actor and as a character is unheard of. And it was emotional, to say the least. I mean, like, it took a lot for us to get through that scene. A lot. And I just feel so lucky.
I know that one spinoff has been dashed so far, but do you still hold out hope that Josh is going to get his spinoff?
Listen, I think that it's impossible to kill something that's not dead in this industry, right?
True.
If whatever they have in mind, I'm open for conversations. I've been keeping myself very busy and I've been really excited to figure out what the next step of my career actually is and what it looks like. And I'm having some really interesting conversations right now. But I will always be available for more younger. Whenever it comes, I will carve time for sure.
Well, that's the next thing I want to talk about is, what can you talk about the next part of your career? Because you have gone through so many things even since the show started, but even in the last couple of years, you've done some amazing things. Thanks. What do you want to do next?
I want to work with people who are the best at what they do and who are challenging the ways in which we tell stories and social commentary, and who are dedicated to art as the vehicle for change. And I'm less interested in spilling my own personal stories and ideologies and curiosities and explorations, and really want to base it in the art and character. And I'm ready to dedicate myself wholeheartedly as an actor and bring characters to life and continue to do that for the rest of forever. Television is really safe. It's a really safe, beautiful place. I will definitely be back on TV. There are a few conversations in the works right now for different things. I just sold a TV show. And film is it's less accessible than I think maybe it was a few years ago. But there are still people doing some really amazing things. And this movie that I was just able to shoot here in LA, The Mattachine Family, is unbelievable. And the story is so special. And the fact that the market isn't oversaturated with queer families is fucking ridiculous to me. And I'm really excited to kind of carve some roads for that to continue to happen. And I want to be a dad. I mean, that's what my life looks like moving forward.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it. It was awesome chatting. Mm-hmm. I can't wait to see the movie, and I will cross my fingers for everything else.
I appreciate it, Andrew.
Have a wonderful day.